Welcome to another edition of Saturday Night Sports. How is everyone doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. Excited to be back. Last week I was on the mobile Saturday Night Sports, so it was a little different to be here in person.
Yeah, you weren't here last week. It was me and CJ.
Yeah.
So, obviously, excuse me there. Obviously, we got the return of Albatross tonight. We'll see if CJ and Ace. Whoa, Ace? What? Ace? Yeah, that's right, folks.
Yeah,
Potentially, Ace might be in the studio tonight. We'll see. We're not quite sure. We made the call. We got to see if he shows up. So, we'll see. Another good show tonight. Got a lot going on. We're going to touch on a couple things we don't normally get to from week to week. Talk about the MLB kind of off-season awards. I guess technically it would be post-season awards, but whatever. That's not what people are going to decipher that as. But moving on. We're talking about how the NBA is going to get restarted and when free agency is going to start, which will be at the end of this month type thing. The CBA and all that. They got all that in order, ready to go. Looking to get things moving right along. It makes sense, but we'll get to that. Obviously, NFL recap, like we do every week. We got our predictions going on, things like that. That's pretty much where it's going to be. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it, right into the good old MLB awards. There are a lot of people, I guess mainstream people who don't always watch baseball. Myself, I thought Mookie Betts was going to get the NL MVP, but Freddie Freeman beat out Betts and Machado for the NL MVP. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a good choice. I mean, he's the anchor of that team. Without Freddie Freeman, they don't make it to the NLCS. I think he's a all-around, really, really solid player. Swings the bat well, plays the field well, is a leader in the locker room. He is just, he's the Mookie Betts of the Braves. I mean, he's that utility guy without using utility in the wrong word, but he does a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's well justified, and he deserves it. He's worked really hard down there in Atlanta his entire career, so well deserved.
Yes, I like it. I've seen some interesting things about it. He over 60 games, I believe, was the most consistent. I mean, I think he missed a couple games here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall, Freeman, like you said, anchored that team. It was him and I believe either Ozuna or is it Okuna?
It's Okuna, but I think Ozuna is there too.
I know. I believe it was him and Okuna really were the offense. And Okuna, from what I've seen, is going to be a free agent. So, interesting things in the offseason to look at from the Atlanta standpoint. I was, again, kind of surprised, but at the same time happy. Happy to see some names, I would say teams, you don't normally see. Atlanta Braves, you don't really see them getting, major awards like that.
No,
so that was really nice. Then we had also on the AL side, Abreu for the Chicago White Sox won that MVP.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think that's another situation of the Freeman situation. The Freeman case. A guy who's been with this team his entire career and consistently year in year out does well. Is strong play on the field and behind the plate. So again, I think it's another, and I believe they're both first basemen, if my memory serves me correct. It was like, because I'm pretty sure Freddie Freeman plays first, and so does. So first baseman. So I mean, and that's the interesting part because you consider most of the time your first baseman is your least athletic player, and yet these guys are out here anchoring these teams. So it shows that not just are they good, with the bat, they're good at the field. They're a leader, and it showed in all those. I mean, the White Sox were a playoff team, and so were the Braves.
Right. 100%, 100%. It was nice to see that too. Again, another team that you don't normally see, like I said, winning awards, showing that they are going to be here long term. I think this team and the Atlanta Braves, you look at them, if they make the right moves this off season, going into the season, coming up season, I should say, I think there really could be, longevity here. I think where the Chicago Cubs had a great team when they won, they didn't really lock the guys up long term. Where you kind of have Atlanta here, they've locked up some people here young to where they're getting money now, but they're also going to get a chance to get that money when, they're 28, 29, right where you want to be getting another contract. So they're really being like player friendly, but they're also being team friendly with keeping good talent home.
Right. I agree with that. I think the Cubs,
Go ahead.
It was a little different. I feel like the Cubs, the Yu Darvish thing just did not pan out at all. And I had a feeling it wasn't going to. Yu was starting to go downhill when he was in Texas.
Right.
So I feel like that didn't plan out. Obviously, it didn't help with Arrieta, departing the following season after having that stellar run to the World Series title. I feel that because they locked down their infield. You look at that infield, and it's pretty much the same infield that won the World Series. Most of that defense, Hayward, all those guys, it was just a couple flex people. You're talking Dexter Fowler, Jake Arrieta. Obviously, these are big names. Behind the plate, you still kept Wilson Contreras. You didn't obviously have I can't think of the gentleman right now. The catcher who ended up retiring. I believe he was the one who would catch for John Lester when he would pitch.
Yes.
So yeah,
I see his name. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah. So you had a lot of like key role players in a weird way. Obviously, taking out Arrieta, considering he was a starter, 1-2 rotation with Lester. They had just some key strong role players depart the following year, and that I feel kind of hurt a little bit. But they kept the core of that team. That's why the Cubs are always up there trying to win that NL Central, and it's a tough division. Those are really good teams in the NL Central.
Most definitely. Yes. I'm curious to see how that's going to be next season. I hope that they're able to play, longer season. Maybe they can get kind of things in order to really get back to the length. I feel like the short season, maybe it does benefit players more. Maybe it's a good thing, but at the same time, can, these guys who are doing it for 60 games, can they get it, consistent up to the 90 and in such range to continue to be dominant, or would we have guys pop up, late in the runs, have just dominant performances that throw them up in the awards,
Yep.
So things to see.
Yep. And it'll be fun. Winter meetings will be coming up really soon, so we'll be
Speaking
able to talk
of meetings,
Yep.
Got some meetings right around the corner here.
Yep.
Chris Paul and DeMar DeRozan are two names right offhand that I hear a lot about. Chris Paul to Phoenix, Milwaukee, the Lakers, the Clippers, or the 76ers. I've heard all those teams be potential landing spots for Chris Paul. I've also heard Russell Westbrook and James Harden potentially being shipped out of Houston as well. There's just so much going on right now. So much. I think if some blocks fall, we could very well find ourselves going from duo teams, which kept the balance, to here we go with trios. Here we go with 3-4 superstars again. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the balance too much.
Right.
But that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm liking it. Me personally, I'd love to see DeMar DeRozan go from San Antonio to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis. But like I said, that might mess with, the tilt and where teams are. And it's going to be hard. It'd be hard to stop those three in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's possible. Anything's possible.
Right.
But like we saw with
See,
what LeBron and AD did with these 7-game series, they would like up to the finals. They'd let you win that first game just to see what you had, and then they would turn it on for 4 games and be done with the series.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the biggest thing is there's some names that we've heard kind of rumbles about that, we're going to change teams, but we really weren't expecting them to change teams.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing.
Chris being one of those, that really surprised me. I'm like, what? Like, you guys just had a nice long run here with this young team. You guys are starting to look good, and now they're talking about breaking it down more. Like, what are you doing, Oklahoma City?
I think they're just bought into the rebuild. I think the biggest thing is you look at the coach is not returning, so this isn't going to be the same system that you saw last year. You also have the front office already proving that they are willing to ship out the big names to get the big prizes back. You have Paul George being shipped out, and just a plethora of draft picks and plenty of
Right.
stuff was thrown at them. I think you see him return to that similar plan. I think they're going to try to ship Chris out, get a big prize back. Whether you get a player now, I don't really think that's necessary. You can just load up on draft picks.
We'll probably get more draft picks. Presti is a genius at that.
Right, and you turn around and you have, 2 first-round picks. Like you're talking 5 guys. 2 out of 5 guys make a pair. Pairs win championships. You could easily bring some really, really, really big talent through the draft. You don't even need to go pay people. Just draft these guys, and then you're in control of them. So I think there's a lot that the Oklahoma City, Thunder are positioning themselves for the future. So, I mean, especially with the Donovan ship out, which I'm happy he landed in Chicago. About time. That Bulls front office change was huge. They got snubbed on the restart, which was absolute tragic city. But I think it's exciting times in Chicago. First time for myself being excited as a Bulls fan. I mean,
whoa, hold it, folks. Hold the presses. We have to check the date on this.
Yeah.
November 14th, 2020,
Yeah.
7:36. Write it down.
Yeah.
He was excited about Chicago Bulls basketball.
Right.
I'm gonna hold him to it. I'm gonna hold him to it.
I'm excited because you have a coach who, I don't know. I feel like he needed a team who wanted to be molded. You have a roster in Chicago, if they can stay healthy and be put all on the same page. I think there's a right roster there that will go to his plan. I think if they listen to what Donovan wants to do, I think that team already has the capability to run his offense at the level that he would expect them to.
Because of the pieces they have.
I don't think they have to stretch too far. I think don't overstretch the team, but maybe try to get a big free agency move, big name. Bring in there with LaVine, and you start to create real opportunities to make some noise quick, and not just next season or the following. So I think it'll be interesting. Fun times in the NBA. I mean, you have some teams I think that are going to come back that you haven't seen back at the top. So I mean, look, the Lakers won. First time in some
10
time.
years.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been some time, and you have the Celtics playing up there, obviously. So I mean, it'd be nice to get the Bulls back in the playoffs. It's been a while since we were in there.
Almost 10 years. I'm pretty sure they won after 10, or was 10 Kobe's last? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We will check that later.
Yes.
We'll dial that in. Go check on that for me. No.
Yeah. Intern.
Oh, man. But, yes, I'm excited. I believe it is the 22nd through the 25th. I believe it's free agency this year. I'm pretty sure it's very, very short. Like, I was super surprised. But at the same time, I was like, wow, way to be so quick about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they really want to get it reset. Why fiddle-faddle around, keeping teams sitting around? Like I said, there was, I think, 9 teams, if my memory serves me correct, that got snubbed on the restart. So you have 9 teams that didn't get to play in the bubble, that have missed out on tons of basketball time. And so you're going to have teams that are just needing those moments to get the season started, to get their, the traction back again for some of these guys. Some of these are going to be so rusty. They're just going to need to get going again. They need to rotate this season out. And why not? Basketball is a decent enough, I think, sport, and these guys take care of their bodies right. I think they could turn this around.
Yeah. I think.
Well, and as a front office with COVID for the NBA approached it correctly. Yeah, they have a truncated group of individuals that they can travel per team. Obviously, it makes it easier logistically, but let's be honest, them and the MLB have the best program so far to keep their players safe, whether they're dictating what these players do outside of the field is, unconfirmed. But I think no matter how you look at it, these corporations are taking care of their players, and it's still continuing to put out a top-notch product when it comes down to important games that set the playoffs, or playoff games, or finals games, or World Series.
Yep, here you go. So here's where we're at. So the NBA draft, because that's important. We have that on the 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern time, coming up here real soon. That's going to be interesting to kind of see where some interesting pieces land. There are some good talent out there. You got Obi Toppin, you got Melo, which is another Ball brother. There's one that just had a huge pro day, and LeBron and all of them showed up. Can't remember what the kid's name is, but he's really good. He thinks he could be the next Dwayne Wade. He plays for Georgia. He's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Free agency starts November 20th, and they're allowed to start signing people as early as the 22nd, which is that following Sunday. Training camp starts December 1st, and then the season kicks off on the 22nd. Now, to put that into perspective for everybody, the poor Heat and Lakers, their off-season, 71 days. The teams that didn't make the bubble have had 285 days off.
I would rather be the guys with only 71 days off. I don't want to hear any crying from any player playing on the Heat or the Lakers or any playoff team being like, oh, I'm tired. I guarantee that all those 9 teams that have 200-plus days without playing in a competition level, because good luck finding the same type of competition as the NBA to get a pickup game to keep yourself in.
Right, keep in game shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to happen. So I'd rather have 71 days off. At least you have 71 days to recuperate, and you are still in that game mode, understanding what's going on. You're going to see the teams that played in those playoffs and those finals, I guarantee they immediately start fresh, they start fast, and they start hot. I think you're going to see the teams, those 9 teams, unfortunately, are going to start off extremely slow, and there's going to be some sloppy mistakes.
Well,
they're not going to be quite ready, even with a 21-day camp.
Right. I like it. I'm going to say this now. You're right, but there's going to be those teams who are going to excel from that rest. And I've said it from day one, as soon as the season ended, I think Golden State's going to be one of them.
Yeah.
I think Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the addition of Andrew Wiggins, the team's going to be ready. Those two, I have a feeling that the Splash Bros are going to come out red hot looking to make a statement.
I think so.
The NBA's kind of forgot about them. Everyone's talking about the Lakers and the Heat and the Clippers, and no one's really like, oh, but the Warriors.
Right.
It's there. If you have to find it, but we should be talking about this team more. I mean, these guys did just kind of have a, slight domination. Yeah, they had Kevin Durant for a part, But before KD, they were still becoming that team.
Right. I think injuries is the main reason why you're not really talking about Golden State. You think
they got hurt bad.
Curry and Thompson both have been hurt. I think this season and last, if my memory serves me.
Well, they didn't play this season because of the injury they suffered in the finals when KD got hurt. All three of them got hurt in that finals, and that's when Kawhi and Toronto and them won.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, that hurt them. So, I mean, automatically, I think a lot of people. Same thing with the Nets, though. I mean, there's so much talent on that Nets team. When that Nets team rolls out healthy, they should play at a high level. And again, if that's the team that makes a move and maybe gets the John Wall because of the practice, they're all hanging out practicing together. You're talking, again, that's a trio, and that's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly, quadruple. Karis LeVert would possibly, raise his level of play, and you could talk about 4 strong players on one team to lead that team. So, I mean,
that would be nasty.
It would be gross. So it's going to be really interesting. I think this real quick flash of a turnaround is going to be really fast. A lot of things are going to change, and the landscape in the NBA is getting ready to be.
I think this is. Yes, sorry, I agree. I think this is huge for the Phoenix Suns. Coming off that undefeated stretch there before the playoffs started in the bubble, I think they saw what the team could be. They fell a little bit short. Then they saw the people competing in the playoffs, and you have that quick little turnaround, new season. I think the Phoenix Suns come out looking hot too, especially if they get Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I think Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Booker, again, 3 guys that could easily really change the landscape in that locker room and on the court.
This is true. They could get off to, like we said, that hot start, just like, some teams that happened to deal with this last week, whether it be Thursday night a couple nights ago or last Sunday. Some teams got off to hot starts, weren't able to capitalize. Other teams were able to just bury their opponent, and that was the end of discussion. What do I mean? I mean the Colts totally plastering the Titans on Thursday night. Mm-hmm. Holy smokes.
Which is interesting because really, I mean, you look at the first 2 drives for both teams.
Mm-hmm. They look good.
And both teams look like they were coming out to play each other hard.
Yep.
But, again, you saw and I said this on the Thursday show, the balance. What team kept the balance and executed when the passes needed to be made? And that was the Colts. The Colts obviously found something in the tape.
Yep.
And I think
they just kept exploiting it all night long.
Right. And the defense is really, no one's talking about it, but that pass rush has just got awful. It's
true.
Awful. It's horrible. So, I mean, you're talking, it's like where the 49ers are at. No pass rush, but the secondary plays well. You can't defend top-notch offenses with a top-notch secondary with no pass rush. It's super hard to disguise. It's asking a lot for guys who already cover other fast receivers for 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. You're asking a lot for a coverage guy. So, I mean, the Titans need to shore up some things. I'm sure injuries play a part in this. This has been an awkward, COVID-filled, injury-riddled, horrible play on the field. I'm not going to go into this. I'm sure they're having problems with something. That's why I imagine they, don't have that pass rush. So I think that's really killing them. I think it's really killing them. That defense is vulnerable, which, again, they play a lot. The offense doesn't have a good balance. If you don't have a good balance, Derrick Henry, and maybe this is my own critique of Henry, Is Henry a top running back? Yes. But Henry's not a top running back without Tannehill playing at the top level that he can. Because without Tannehill
in order to
the
win,
number one,
yeah,
then
agreed.
Henry becomes dominant. Henry becomes that guy. And you can see the inconsistencies in play calling, in play execution, and that's just killing this team. Tons of talent, just miss execution, just stumbles on and when they shouldn't. So they just need to really just kind of roll things back, basics, play high school football.
Right, and like I said, it's interesting because just the week before, the Colts got smacked down by Baltimore, which kind of brings us, I guess, into, one of our next games here that we're going to talk about anyway, which is kind of Baltimore returning anyway. We got your boy here.
What's up?
What's up, CJ?
He needs to turn a light on in there or something. We can't even see him. I don't even know what's going on.
You guys can see me? How about now? You guys can see me?
There we go.
Give me 1 second.
Got that close up.
We'll give him a moment.
All
but
right.
yes, Baltimore is looking mighty fine again in the sense of kind of having that consistency on offense. I'm still kind of
pump the brakes.
Boom.
That's what I gotta say.
I'm still kind of concerned. I'm still concerned. Greg Roman, that offense, you can only do so much. And now there's people coming out saying that people are calling out what they're doing at the line of scrimmage, pretty much telling Lamar, hey, I know what you're doing. Like, it's not good. Is it Lamar's limited and this is all he can do? Or is it Greg Roman's offense is only this big for Lamar?
Well,
I
don't know how many of you remember, but
Pump your brakes.
Pump your brakes. Greg Roman had 4 plays to beat the team that he coordinates for now, and he couldn't figure it out. That speaks in volumes. I just think Roman, maybe, again, this is my own personal opinion, but I don't think Greg Roman is a good coordinator. I think he's a flash coordinator. You give him a year with a uber talented Lamar Jackson, and you can catch the NFL completely off guard. You go and you win 14 games, and you stumble in the playoffs.
So
I think that's Greg Roman.
There's a rumor out that says that Lamar. This says that everybody watches their film. In the before the game, and yeah, I know there's a rumor out that says this, and when I see like, wait, what?
People actually watch film?
What? I was like, yeah, not today. Sorry, but Baltimore returning to form is like, whoa.
Yeah.
Listen.
There's supposed to be a question mark on there, so that was bad editing on my part. Just throw that out there.
They figured them. I think Baltimore got figured out, and it's just like the time when you had Colin Kaepernick and RG3 running the read option, and eventually what happened? People caught on to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is what's happening now with Baltimore's offense. Is people are starting to catch on to this read option offense that you're running, which forces Lamar Jackson to throw the ball more, which now shows you're not there yet.
Yep.
You're not there yet.
I agree.
And a lot of people probably watching this probably say, "Oh, are you serious? Lamar Jackson is like the greatest." No, he's not the greatest. Sorry. But I like Lamar Jackson. He's explosive. He's athletic. I think he's by far, he's top 5 quarterback in the league, right? Despite of what you want to think. Right. But, with this Ravens offense, losing their top lineman, it plays a part. It's the same thing with the Titans. Same thing with Titans. Without Tyler Lewan, you see
That hurts.
that it hurts. There's an issue there. There's a big gap there that is open, and you can't fill it right now.
And
So,
Tennessee's special teams, they're just god
yeah,
awful. They've had 3 different punters, I believe, in 3 or 4 weeks now.
yeah.
They can't get their special teams together. If you can't do special teams, that's putting
I
more pressure on your offense and defense.
I don't think I've ever seen a team hire more than 2 punters in one season, and just
Let alone in a month.
it was just crazy, But with Baltimore, that win that they got against the Colts, it put some resurgence in their season, but
They needed it.
returning the form, I don't know yet. It's I think John Harbaugh is starting to fit into that category of coaches who gets lost in this modern day style of the NFL. I think he's losing his touch a little bit with how things are ran in the NFL now. The style, and he has the quarterback, that fits the style, but I don't think that the actual play calling style is there,
And again, I think that's Greg Roman. This is the same offense he ran in San Francisco, just changed it a little bit. Again, it's all based around the tight ends. He had Vernon Davis, Delaney Walker in San Francisco. He has Andrews. He has other weapons. I think where it shows the biggest loss is just the inability to make plays outside of that offense. And that was the issue always. Once the play broke down, the play was over. And to make a play was ridiculously hard. He makes those plays because of his athletic ability. I think the Ravens can do it. I think there just needs to be, again, this is an egotistical offensive coordinator that doesn't want to accept that, he has been figured out. There's an issue with another coach like that, and he resides in Santa Clara,
Shanahan.
Offensive coordinators and offensive minds who think that they don't need to change week to week, you're lost. It's the NFL. These guys get paid a lot of money to figure out how to stop you. So
Agreed.
The Baltimore Ravens need to show me a little more. They're definitely not as big and fast and as explosive as what they were last year. So we'll see what they will bring for the rest of the season.
I agree. Speaking of seeing what they're going to bring the rest of the season, those Seattle Seahawks, oh boy.
It's starting to look like the same Seattle Seahawks that we've seen last year, and honestly, the Seahawks don't really do well in November, and I just don't know what it is. It's like when they're on a hot streak, it's just something happens where, we don't see the Russell Wilson that we always see. We don't see the DK Metcalf that we're so used to seeing. We don't see the Tyler Lockett being Tyler Lockett that we're used to seeing. And I think that running back, the running back company that they have is slowly depleting due to injuries. They're not able to get the ball rolling. And the Seahawks has always been a team that actually needs that running back. They have Sean Alexander, they've had decent, running backs who can actually get the offense moving. But now with this offense becoming very stagnant with the run game, Russell Wilson just, he can't do it all by himself, and that shows it. Pete Carroll just have to do something. You went out and get Carlos Dunlap, but you got to make some type of effort to get this running game going. I like the guys that they have, but I don't see no push coming from them right now.
I think the biggest thing. So right now you're watching one side of the football carry the other. Their defense is on pace to almost give up like 7,000 yards by the end of the season. It's just god awful. Their defense is horrible. I don't even think bringing back Adams and Dunn. I just don't. I mean, they're just so bad. It's just crazy. And then you look at this offense. Everyone wonders, well, how did the Bills slow down the almighty DK Metcalf? And how did they slow down crazy little Tyler Lockett? Well, if you defend 2 routes, you can take these guys out of their system. DK Metcalf gets thrown to, targeted, and receives the most yards and receptions on streaks. He's just running go routes. Well, you put a safety over top, you shade him like they did, play real physical with him. He didn't get the separation. You look at Lockett, all of his stuff is on slants. He is targeted the most, receiving yards, everything. In the NFL, both these guys run these two routes, and they are the most in all the categories you can get for these routes. So Russell's basically playing backyard football. I'm going to throw it up to my big best friend, and if he's not open, I'm going to throw it to my short little skinny friend who runs really fast. So he's just playing backyard football. He's going to go up against other teams, and the Seahawks are a facade. Yeah, I'm a divisional rival, but they're a facade. They are not. They're pretenders at best. Russell Wilson is playing epic this year, but it is epic to the tune of a tragic defense.
I agree. 100%. I totally agree. You see it week in and week out. This team is Russell Wilson. That's it. Like, there's no, the defense forced a turnover to win the game. No, it's can Russell Wilson lead the fourth quarter drive? You never see anything about the defense. You never see nothing about it. Jamal Adams pretty much got injured, non-existent. Okay, you're so good.
Right.
Oh, man. I get tired of players running their mouth like there's some just amazing top greatness. Like, yeah, you played well in New York, but as soon as you left New York, you've done nothing. You can't even show up on the field to help a team that obviously shows they really need you.
Right. Right.
Get healthy. God.
I think the opposite side, you look at the Bills, though, and I question the Bills because it seems like they don't –
inconsistency.
They don't want to play against teams they know they're better than.
Yep.
And then they go up against a team that obviously has a good record, but it's not as good as their record shows. But then the Bills come up and play great. I just want to see more. Obviously, we know the Bills have a good team. They have a good roster. They have a good system. Go out and play tough every weekend. I don't think they should have any issue beating their way to the AFC East title.
This was definitely a win that the Bills needed. They needed something to solidify or re-spark what we've seen in the first 4 weeks of their season.
Right.
Josh Allen just looks superb. Just the whole offense, the whole complete team. They just came out and they did their thing. And it's just like you said. I don't know why they can't do this against teams that they know they're better than, versus then they're coming up to these juggernaut teams that's just killing it right now in the season, and they just like smash their heads in, and
right.
Just Micah Hyde is a freak, and that goes without saying. I like Micah Hyde. I think he's one of the rising safeties in the NFL right now. But yeah, I think that upset right there was just crazy. I didn't expect that. I think I am 2-6 in the picks that I've chosen.
I actually did extremely well. I'm pretty sure I only lost 3 games, I think, total on that last pick. I have them all wrote down on my whiteboard. And I had the Bills beating the Seahawks. I just.
Yeah, I had Carolina winning. I had the Seahawks beating out the Buffalo. I think this was me and Zach was talking about, right? We were talking about this last week. Yeah. I had Chicago beating Tennessee. I had Pittsburgh winning. That worked out for me. I had the Colts winning. That worked out for me. But listen.
There was just a lot of teams that played subpar. And I think there's the other half, I think, showed their colors. I think then there's a little portion sprinkled in there that don't know a good coaching decision to make. I mean, there's a lot of turbulence in the NFL this year. I think this game was a perfect example of how up and down people's seasons are.
Yeah, my my biggest thing was I thought Arizona was gonna win against Dolphins. That was my upset pick. You know,
Told you.
and the game was immaculate. You know, it was
It was
great
fun.
seeing these two guys, you know, go back and forth at it. You know, and despite what you want to say, Mr. Condor, you know, I don't think that, you know, I think that two game, you know, that game right there pretty much told us who Tua is and who Tua want to be. You know, and as it only gets better from here. You know, it only gets better from here.
I agree. You
It
know,
was good stuff.
on the Bills here,
Gave Tua a compliment. You should be happy.
I'm not being I'm not going to be a biased Dolphins fan. I'm going to be a realist. Realistically speaking, they're still in the driver's seat for the division. It's still their division to lose. Just what everyone thought. Now let's see if they can take care of business. Josh Allen kind of had a good streak at the beginning. It was kind of rocky the last couple starts. Shows up, takes care of business against the Seahawks.
Yep.
What are we going to get moving forward from you, Josh Allen? Are we going to get, you know, the good starts? We're going to get the bad starts. We got to see what's going on. We need consistency, offense, defense from this whole team.
Yep.
You know, are you guys really going to be the, you know, the cream of the crop in the AFC East, or are you going to drop an egg and let Miami sneak in the back door and take the division title the year that it was supposed to be yours? That's where I'm at right now. I think it's like I said, it's still their division, but it could be anybody's division. You know, since we were talking about it, let's talk about it.
Oh no!
But before we talk about that, I just want to say that before the season started, and you can ask Josh this, I said, and I quote, the Dolphins have a better chance of winning this division than any other team in this division, right? In their division.
Right.
And look at it now. Dolphins are here to compete.
It's true.
Said that. With the amount of changes they've done with that defense, you know, in the beginning of the season, I said, if anybody's going to be the division winner, it's going to be the Dolphins. And I said, I'm calling it. I said, Josh, you can record this. The Dolphins will win the division.
Are you zooming in on your head over there, Condor? I mean, it's getting bigger. I'm not quite sure. Okay. I'm not sure. Yep, there it is.
No. Actually, we got something that's going to go down here. Something that's going to go down.
Are you going to talk about that?
It's going to be good stuff. Okay. And this is CJ too, more than anything. He's going to love this a lot.
Man.
That's why you're seeing more of Kevin Peterson so far.
Let's analyze these throws, fellas.
On the move, fires, and he's got another first
down. It's real choppy. The internet is really choppy.
Dr. Williams, he's got it. Nobody touched him.
Did that work?
For a moment, I didn't even see him catch the ball. It was really cool.
5-yard line.
Hang on, we're going to let this load for a minute. It's so bad.
Everybody who's out here watching this, first time he's tried this, he decided he wanted to try it live. No one knew about it.
I'm so annoyed.
First and 10 for Miami.
Regardless.
That means it's not meant for us to.
Maybe we'll let him.
I'll tell you what, that fuzzball right there did really well to that fuzzball. And I think that the brown fuzzball that he threw to him actually spun the right direction. No, I think outside of that, I think the Dolphins played much better than the quality of the video. So I'm excited to see going forward how Tua continues to evolve inside this offense. And I think what you saw here was the classic case of Murray gets the jitters. If Murray doesn't have everything go according to plan, he throws a fit. You know, he does not like it. I get it. I'm sure none of us in here like losing, you know, as much as the next. But you know, you got to find that that good median between sportsmanship and competitor. And I feel like he loses that ability when bad things happen to the Cardinals.
So, are we talking about him not shaking his hand?
So
Okay, here we go.
oh, the fuzzball's getting clearer. It's looking like an early 2000s Madden game. Earlier, it was like 1995 Madden.
Yeah. Look like Tecmo Bowl.
How does it look now? Because it looks fine over here.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
Mine's like, do, 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 do.
Get out of here.
Do you have this
Seriously.
one?
So basically, I think it's coming up here. It's right here. This kind of stuff. Just his ability, from what I saw, we'll be interested to see obviously this week. That's basically just what I wanted to get to anyway. It was basically just his ability to step up and make plays in the pocket. To really sense the pressure. I think that was really a big thing for me. And when he did step up, it wasn't stepping up necessarily to run. His eyes were always downfield looking at what was going on as he was stepping up to make the throws. And I guess the biggest thing besides that is his IQ and just his ability. When he sees it, his arm goes with it. It's just kind of in unison. It's not like he's second guessing it, anything like that. As soon as he sees the opening, it's there. And I think that's really been kind of the fun thing to see from, game one to now. His first game, we didn't get a lot. Limited sample size. Defense really, shut down the Rams, kind of changed what we could do offensively. Exactly. Kind of a snore fest offensively. But going into Arizona, you have a duel. You had Kyler Murray making all sorts of plays, ran for 100 yards, passing all over the place. But again, when things weren't going his way, he wasn't so happy. And as soon as he won, he just walked off the field. Like, I get it, but you're the face of the franchise. Be the face of the franchise. Be the mature face of the franchise. You don't see Drew Brees and all them people going into the presser and talking about, oh, I don't give about this crap and this and blah, blah, this. No. Be mature about it.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to win the division. This is not how you do it. Is it really hard to say that? Like, all these other people do it all the time, but this kid's over here kind of throwing little childish fits that you would see kids throw in high school.
Well, and I'll say it, that's the reason why Murray's going to win when the 49ers are down and the Seahawks are a former shade of themselves. The two big brothers are down right now. You have the Rams and the Cardinals running around thinking they're good teams.
Yep.
When the two better teams get better, they'll rise back to the top of this division. So it's just, again, this is why Murray is always number 3, number 4 in the division.
Yep.
Because he can't get that emotional edge when he needs it. And the NFC West is rough. It's tough out there. These guys smack each other around. So if you can't get your emotional edge, there's the door.
It's true.
I agree.
Very true. So, yeah, it'll be curious to see what's going on this week. You got Miami going back home to host Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I'm very curious to see what that turns into. We're going to obviously jump back into the next game here. Panthers look good. Christian McCaffrey looked good coming back. Obviously, poor dude got injured again. He's out tomorrow with a shoulder injury. Sad face. But honestly, I think as we talk amongst ourselves, whether it be from an analyst standpoint or just football fans, we all can say, whether it's Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Julio Jones, sometimes OBJ if he's not being a drama queen, those names, Khalil Mack, just those big names. You want to see them on the field. You want to see him perform. Christian McCaffrey getting hurt again, not so much. Not fun. But when he was on the field, looked great. Electric. Just what you want. But obviously, wasn't enough for.
Despite this loss, right?
I feel like it exposes Kansas City in my mind.
Yeah. I think Kansas City got exposed, and they almost lost that game. That game by Sly, I mean, that kick by Sly, I mean, it just went wide right.
I know. It had the distance.
He still had more distance to go. And
I know.
That pretty much, I think what Matt Ruley saw was like, okay, he can hit a 55-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was a 58 attempt. It was a 58-yard attempt. And so now that Ruley know that he can hit those, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be practicing a lot of those this week coming. You know, but that was a crazy game. You know, yeah, Christian McCaffrey it's never fun to see him. You know, he just got off injury and he's back on the injury list again.
I'm just glad that he didn't break his collarbone. Because as much as he was grabbing at his shoulder and stuff, I'm like, oh no! I thought it was pretty bad.
I don't know. I think Kansas City just thought they were just going to run all over Carolina like they weren't a good team. I think this is the egotistical side of the Chiefs that I can't stand, and I've never been able to stand. And it proved. You walked in here thinking you were just going to beat these guys because they weren't that great. You have Teddy Bridgewater, who doesn't get talked about, but is quietly having one
Only
of the best.
Came out with what, 2-point win?
Yeah. 2 or 3 point win. So I think this is just a good judge of character of what the defending Super Bowl champions think they are. They think they're going to come out here and beat everybody and not put effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they rely on Mahomes to throw them out and bail them out. What's this team going to do if something happens to Mahomes? Obviously, then Tyreek running a line hill doesn't matter very much. So
right.
I think there's a lot of things to be read about what can be said about the team. Both teams. I think the Panthers are an underrated team who have quietly been putting together a good roster and need to be respected. I mean, they got a good wide receiver core. If McCaffrey can stay healthy with him and Mike Davis, it's a good duo. Good quarterback play, good defensive play. Obviously, we know the Chiefs are good, but come out and play like it every week. Don't just sit here and, because we played the Jets last week. I mean, come on. I think even if the 49ers played them right now, we'd probably have a good game against the Jets. Two practice squads. I mean, it'd be good stuff.
Right.
But this is a good. The Panthers were a good team. I'm not sold on KC's ability to mentally get past teams they know they're better than. Kind of the Buffalo Bill thing. A good team that doesn't show up every week.
I agree. Inconsistencies. Speaking of inconsistencies. Oh man. I really hope this goes into my take again like last week. I'm going to say it again. I really hope this helps the future of the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Because this team finds ways to lose games. That's the only way I can say it. It's not that they're just losing and they're losing the same way. They find new ways to lose games.
I don't know.
This is what happens when you trade Desmond King. And that happens.
It's true. I like it.
I don't know.
You traded him.
I think
traded him. This is what happens. I mean, listen. It's bad. It's bad. And for a young rookie quarterback, it stings. It hurts. It stings big time, knowing that you haven't won not one close game. I think he's 0-4 in 4 quarter comebacks.
Something like that.
Yeah. 0-4. Yeah. It's bad. It stings. I hope the kid is pulls through adversity. With the matchup against the Dolphins defense, which is crazy because now you have to come against this a defense like the Dolphins right now. You gotta overcome it with adversity. And I think that he will. It'll be a shootout. And this. I'm actually excited to see how this Herbert and Tua is Herbert and Tungaloa matchup's gonna be.
I don't know. I think the Chargers got screwed on this one personally. I just think the call was just not a good call in the end that ended up deciding this game. They're just on the short end of the stick right now. I think if they just continue to play well, maybe they lose a bunch more games like this. That's okay. They'll get an influx again of more young talent to help build that ability to close these games out. Maybe they're just missing a couple little things. I think if they got better consistent play out of their number 2, number 3 receivers to help Allen, I think that would help. If Hunter, I don't know. I feel like he's there and then he's not there. He's there and then he's not there. So,
For sure.
I feel like there's just a lot of little things that aren't going right for the Chargers. But overall, I mean, if you're a Charger fan, I think your biggest question going into this year was who is Herbert going to be? I think you know who he's going to be. I think if you put the right people around him, this Chargers team is making a playoff run. I think they got a quarterback to do everything that everyone else's young quarterbacks are doing. So I think the Chargers' future is bright. Just continue to play tough. Don't
build
be an easy
properly now.
Yep.
That's where this team. Excuse me. That's where I think the Chargers are. Wow. I got the hiccups.
Uh-oh.
A team that's in a good position for the long term. It's just really they need to win a couple of these close games. It's going to happen, obviously. There's going to be times when they're not going to win it, but if they can do their best to win, a couple close ones, it's going to help them moving into next year.
Yeah, battle-tested, battle-hardened, and it'll definitely help them. I mean, look at the team we're getting ready to talk about.
Exactly.
Getting Big Ben back helped them.
Pun intended.
Rolling into it, so I think the Steelers are an interesting team behind their head coach, Mr. Tomlin.
Yeah, I think
they're
unbeaten, but this team's unbeaten, but this team kind of has some question marks. I don't even know at undefeated if you can say that they're a clear cut AFC.
Here's the thing though, right? I get what you're saying. There's still a lot of question marks with this team, but here's the thing that you cannot deny of Pittsburgh is they're not like the Seahawks or any other team who has won more than 5 games this so far. Is that, hey, listen, we don't have to blow nobody out. They've been winning hard fought games.
Yep.
And this right here is just they're consistent with winning hard fought games, and it's like, hey, regardless if you got us by a touchdown with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we're going to score on you. We're going to go for 2, and we're going to win the game. But the Steelers has been playing hard football all season, and my money is on them. When it comes to winning close games, they've been very consistent at that.
I think they're just like their head coach, hard-nosed football. Mike Tomlin's one of the best in the business, and the Steelers look like they're one of the best in the business. They come out and they play the same every week. Like you made a comment, I think they are the best 5+ win team right now just because of how consistent they play week in and week out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say they just this team knows how to win close games. It's going to matter in the playoffs. I think they're going to be there when it matters most. My question is, will they have things figured out totally? I've seen them break down in coverages. We've seen them give up big leads. Their offense kind of go on hot, cold streaks. Hopefully they can have all that figured out moving into the postseason. But again, in close games, they're showing and proving they can win them.
I hope they don't figure it out, but they look pretty good.
Right. Speaking of a team that people don't want to get it figured out.
Yeah.
We can either say it about either of these teams, really. The Bucks get it going. Look out, offense is going to be awesome. But the Saints said not today. And did they ever? I think, honestly, Bruce Arians needs to take his leash off the damn playbook and quit trying to do, what we've talked about. Quit having an ego. Quit trying to say, this is my team. It's going to be how I want. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. Shut up and get on the train if you want to win. Because I'm sorry, you're screwing stuff up right now.
Is he?
You can see he is. You can see that Tom's trying to force the ball to these weapons. They're not running the ball. That's all Bruce Arians. He does not run the football. Run the ball, dude. Use Leonard Fournette. Use Ronald Jones. Give Tom Brady the play action. Look how dominant they were when you're using play action and allowing Gronk to get up the seam. Dominating people.
This goes back to what I said. Is you can't go out there and go get a guy like Leonard Fournette and not utilize
Not use him?
Yeah, and not utilize him. And that's what Bruce Arians is doing right now. And I agree with you 100%, where, in that aspect, but listen, that game, nobody expected for the Saints to roll over on the Bucks like that. They just played 100% complete football. They made sure that they didn't lose by much. They made sure that they didn't make any mistakes. Sean Payton came out there to win. And Drew Brees, man, listen, when we're talking about two future Hall of Famers, Hall of Famers regardless, regardless how you want to look at it, future or present, they're Hall of Famers. These Hall of Fame quarterbacks, it was just it was the game to watch. Who doesn't want to watch Drew Brees and Tom Brady go at it?
For sure.
Drew Brees,
division rivals now.
Yeah, but it was just like I said last weekend, in the last episode, where they got their guys back. They got their wide receiver core back. So that played a very big part, in how they played. Emmanuel Sanders, he was effective when they needed him to be at. Michael Thomas came back and he did his thing, and then everything just came together. Everything came together. Taysom Hill did what Taysom Hill does best. It was just a complete offensive effort, and without those wide receivers, the Saints' offense is stagnant. Obviously, you see that, but they get these guys back, and they're the same. They're the original Smash Mouth Saints that we always used to see.
I'm just curious to see if it can continue, and if it's dependent on Drew Brees having his weapons to be this good, time's closing in.
I think his time is a lot closer than what he wants to admit. I think we've already seen that. Again, the level of play that he has around him is being raised, so it helps. I think Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. But time is coming.
Here's the conversation that I had with another buddy of mine. It's like, because he was saying, he said, Father Time is catching up with Drew Brees, not like Tom Brady. And I'm like, well, here's the difference. All right, man, this is going to make very sense. Tom Brady played in a division where despite what you might say,
It was a terrible division. Just
Yeah.
saying it.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
You had the Bills,
where-
Dolphins, and Jets as your division foes.
We
weren't-
had
You weren't
you
getting
have
rocked.
people who don't even have franchise quarterbacks, and this dude had never lost twice. He'd never been swept in a division in his career, and then he thought he was going to go to the NFC, join Drew Brees' division, and thought that he wasn't going to get swept. Huh?
Yeah, and
Yep.
the thing is, it's like again, that NFC South division is brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal football. You have the Falcons defense who has tremendous linebackers. You have Carolina's defense who knows how to attack the ball. Listen, these guys,
True.
these guys are here to play. Drew Brees had to actually
He had to make a statement.
Drew Brees has actually played in the division that Drew Brees has actually played in the division that was brutal. Where Tom Brady didn't really have that luxury, which is why, hey guys, I can play another year or two in the NFL. And then Drew Brees, he's feeling it, but he doesn't want to admit that because he wants to show that, hey, I can stay here as long as Tom Brady has been.
Yep.
True.
But hey, look, Drew, you've been broken, you've been battered, you've been bruised in this division that you're in, NFC South, and Father Time is just catching up with you. And and my friend just hate to admit it because it's Tom Brady. I'm like, dude, he had this. It's one of the worst divisions ever. Call it what you want. It's one of the worst divisions ever. None of these teams has been in the Super Bowl in a long time. Haven't seen the Super Bowl in a long time, except for the Patriots. So, what can you do?
Right.
I
I think
agree.
the Saints are a really solid team. I think they're a great regular season team, but when the postseason happens, they like to find ways to lose games. So
No, the refs like to find ways to not call the correct penalty.
that too. So I think the thing with the Bucks is this offense doesn't travel, and I think the biggest part is because Bruce Arians, and this was the problem in Arizona when Bruce Arians was
The
head
worst
coach.
part was that this beatdown just happened in Tampa.
Well, I know, but it doesn't travel, so they lost the game one. So then you come back here and you play a team who's already played you. You play them again, and then you continue to be one-dimensional in your own home stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're seeing the problems of not having that running game or creating for Tampa Bay.
When you look at the games that they have won, and I mean like actually won, like smash mouth football, right? What was Leonard Fournette's or Ronald Jones yardage? At least 100 yards.
Significant.
Yeah,
Big
But
games.
when they lose these games, when you look at Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette's yardage,
Minimal.
30 yards, maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the problem. And that's the problem. And I'm going to keep on saying it until these coaches and offensive coordinators get it. Without a decent run game,
You ain't doing nothing.
it's stagnant.
Yep.
I don't care if you got Mike Evans. I don't care if you got Chris Godwin. I don't care if you got Antonio Brown. Until you establish a running game, and this goes for any team in the NFL, you cannot win games.
Yep.
You can't.
Unless you have Russell Wilson throwing to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
They got blown out by the Bills. So
I know. But they won games opposite of it.
Yeah.
But is it
Oh,
going
yeah,
to carry
of
them?
course.
Speaking,
No. It's not going to carry them anywhere in the postseason. When it
Exactly.
comes to the postseason, it's all about running the football, playing defense. That's what happens every year. We've seen it for
I have
decades.
breaking news though, but I'm gonna let you guys finish.
Uh-oh.
go ahead.
Breaking
What's the
news.
breaking news? We're always ready for breaking news.
So, breaking news is
SNS special.
yeah.
Hang on, wait. Ready? Hang on, wait.
Wait.
It's gonna change.
So, all right, my bad. So, the biggest breaking news for the Washington football team is the partial owners are seeking path in court to sell their stake.
Ooh, that is huge.
And it's so under the radar, and I'm like, no, this doesn't need to be under the radar. This is a big deal. This is a
Yeah,
big deal. This is a big deal. It's partial ownership of an NFL franchise is looking in court to sell the stake, and it's a big deal. It's a very big deal.
it is a big deal because then you could possibly have in question, is the team going to move?
It's true. Very true. Speaking of interesting franchises, what does it say more? That the Patriots are falling off, that they had to win on a last-second field goal? Or that the Jets are finally waking up and actually decided to have a good game behind Joe Flacco?
I don't think it's neither.
Yeah.
But
Honestly,
yeah, go ahead.
you're seeing a lot from the Patriots not having Stephen Gilmore. They don't have wide receivers. The run game is just not there. The defense doesn't look as dominant as it has been in past
Just say it
season.
already. Bill Belichick is nothing without Tom Brady.
Oh, no, I don't think you can say that.
Listen, I mean, look. You had a whole quarterback. You know what? I can't say that because Matt Castle did take them to the Super Bowl. I give you that. Okay? But here's the thing. Brady, honestly, I think Brady has made Belichick's career.
He made his life easier.
Yeah, he made his career easier. He got the Super Bowls, but I think there's more of, him having Tom Brady than Tom Brady having Belichick. And
Right.
you can see even with, despite the turnaround with the Saints game, Tom Brady's doing very well in that. Despite the interceptions that he's been throwing, but Tom Brady has been very exceptional in Tampa. It's like he never lost a step. That shows that he's not a system quarterback. Maybe it's not necessarily the system, and I think Bruce Arians has just found a similar system where it can actually work.
Tom Brady was the system.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the question that you ask is the Belichick dynasty. I get that you have groomed a lot of coaches who have won Super Bowls or playoff appearances, But your 6 Super Bowls. I mean,
I don't know. Is it the Patriot? Is it the Patriot way, or should they rename it the Brady way?
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
This game here was. I honestly wasn't going to tune into this game. I wasn't. I didn't have any, aspect or any intent.
Oh, come on! It's always fun to check out Gang Green.
Intent to tune in, but then I looked at ESPN and I seen that the score was 7-7. So I'm like, okay, all right, let me tune in. And then I tune in, and what do I see? I see the Jets in the league at one point, and I'm like,
right.
Are the football gods is going to come down here and answer my prayer with this bold prediction that the Jets are about to be no longer winless? But then the football gods said, you gloated, your ego got in the way, so we're gonna take it away from you. But what I take from this game is just like you said, Condor, is I'm starting to be wacko for Flacco again. I'm starting to think I'm wacko for Flacco again.
No, it was a fluko.
I think
Flacco is wacko.
I think the that's the Jack.
Flacco is crapo
I think the Jets are. I think they're
in the
warming
dumpster.
up to Joe Flacco being back there under center. You know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
It'll help him get to Lawrence, you know.
Oh yeah, he's again though. You're watching I think the organization is going to keep Flacco right there to keep for that bridge to build to their next gen quarterback. Sam Darnold's gone. He's going to find a new team, maybe.
you want them to learn.
I'm sure
from
he'll be.
Flacco?
Huh?
You want them to learn from Joe Flacco?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, he's won a Super Bowl, right? He carried him. So I mean, I think, you know, I mean, think about it. He didn't throw a single interception in that entire playoffs. No other quarterback did that. So, again, without his play, the defense could do.
Did he
Yes.
have to, or did the defense make it easier on him?
No, not really. Because I mean,
but we're not going to talk about Joe Flacco in Baltimore. We're going to talk about Joe
No, I know.
Flacco that went over
I know.
to
I'm
the
talking
bridge
about-
in the tri-state area.
I'm talking about Flacco. He would be a good person to have your quarterback sit behind for a year. I'm not saying let him sit behind and get old behind Flacco losing games. I'm saying let him grow, understand what the NFL is going to throw at him, then put him out there. Kind of like what Miami did with Tua. Not immediately,
So
but not too late.
So is that why the Falcons still have Matt Schaub?
I don't know.
The groom, Matt Ryan.
Could be. Could be. Matt Ryan just apparently needs.
When I see Matt Schaub on the backup list, I'm like, Matt Schaub still playing?
Hey,
Wow.
man, he's making money.
Wow.
Warming the bench, listening to plays. He's got the job, man.
I was astounded. I was great. I was like, ooh, okay. I like Matt Schaub in the Houston days, but that's about it. But yeah.
I think what we could take from this, though, is the Patriots fan finally got to get a victory and over their rival. So, way to go, Patriots.
100%. Yeah, I don't really got much to say on this. It's kind of is what it is. I don't feel like the Patriots are going to get much better than this barely beating the Jets. That's just my final take on it.
Yep.
So moving into the Week 10 predictions.
Boom.
Boom.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, my goodness. You're horrible.
Okay, here we go, folks. We're going to kick it off the right way. Throwing to the hog side. Washington at Detroit, assuming you got Washington. All right, what do you got? No, I'm just kidding. But for real, Washington, Detroit.
This has got to be hard for you. You've been on the Detroit hype train for a couple weeks.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I've been on the Detroit hype train. You know, I've been liking how Matt Patricia has been doing this team. Despite them losing, the Lions have shown that they aren't here to roll over and die. You know, even though they are right now. But you know what? I got Washington winning this. You know, I know that might be biased on my end, but I think Washington.
Homer.
Homer!
You know,
That's
but
messed
here's
up.
why. I think AP is starting to slow down a little bit, and with the status of the Lions' offensive line right now, I think that this will give Chase Young a resurgence in this season so far, and Chase Young will be a big factor in this game, with either sacks or quarterback hits. You know, but Washington, despite what anybody want to say about Washington right now, one, their secondary is getting a lot better. Just their defense as a whole, as far as, you know, the pass rush and the passing defense, they have been like you said earlier, they're starting to play team football, and that is what Ron Rivera has been making an emphasis on this whole entire season. Is they're going to learn to play team football. Alex Smith is starting to get to where we like to see Alex Smith at, and
Yep.
despite the 3 interceptions, the 2 interceptions that he threw in the Giants game, late, back to back, I think this game would be for Alex Smith right here. And who doesn't love a good Alex Smith and Matt Stafford shootout, right?
Right.
I agree.
I'm going to go with the Washington football team. I think the Lions are going to
Hold up.
come out.
Wait a minute.
Homer.
Homer. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I think we get one
Guys,
more guy on it.
Albatross has finally picked Washington to win a game this season. How about that?
It's okay. I'm quick to jump on the train. I watch it go by a couple times, and then I'm like, all right, hype train sounds good. So, no, I think the football team is going to get their win. It's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be close. But I think in the end, you guys are going to come with that W.
We got a 3-way unanimous pick for the Washington football team, folks.
Oh, man. You got 2 of those? Oh, no. I love it.
For real though, I like this matchup
There you
because
go.
of the
Looking good.
the front 7 for Washington. Because of what you said, the injuries to the Detroit line, I think, is going to open up the ability for that defense of Washington to really cause some mayhem. And then I feel like you get the Alex Smith effect. I think that he got the rust off last week. With those couple of picks, and I think he comes out this week with a full week of preparation, ready to go. And I see Washington taking care of business 28-24.
This is great. Guys, listen. This is why I'm so excited, because these 2 guys, I don't think these guys have ever picked Washington to win this season. And this week, listen, I'm going to be tuned into this game, okay?
Did we make your night?
So if they win, I'm going to be ecstatic, okay?
Oh, we'll be talking.
Trust me, we'll come back to this next week. Trust me, we're gonna start adding in a segment, by the way, just so all the fans out there know. Obviously, we're going through our predictions each week. I think from here on out, we're gonna have a little recap of predictions from the following week. We'll start keeping track of, what our win-loss is, that kind of thing. Just have some fun with it.
I meant to give you my score. give you my score for this game. This score would be 14-10.
Ooh, low score.
I think Chase Young is going to get 2 sacks.
4.
I think that's a homer prediction.
4.
So what's your score for that?
Oh man, you're gonna have me get a score?
Yeah.
17-14.
And you said 2 sacks by Young?
Yep.
All right, we got it wrote down, folks. I'm gonna say
Kendall Fuller will have an interception.
I'm gonna say right in the middle. I'm gonna say 2.5 sacks and 1 strip sack, so 1 forced fumble for Chase Young. All right, we're gonna move it right on along here, my fellers. Tampa Bay, Carolina. Does terrible Tom does he rebound against Carolina, or
I got Carolina.
Penny and company get it? You say Carolina?
I got Carolina. Carolina will win 32-28.
Terrible Tom's gonna rebound, mate.
What you got?
Man, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a rough, tough game. The Carolina Panthers are a good team. They're a good football team. So are the Bucks.
Teddy Bridgewater threw 3 touchdowns.
Ooh, interesting. I'm going to go with the Bucks winning 28-21.
I'm taking me terrible Tom. Har. He's gonna return to form, and this is what I say. I say that Bruce Arians and company, they get back to the run game. I think Fournette and Jones combined for 150, 175 on the ground. And I think Tom throws for 2-3 touchdowns. Antonio Brown gets his first touchdown as a Buck.
There we go.
Boom. And I think they're going to win 20-17.
Field goal victory.
A last-second Ryan Suckup walk-off.
Yeah, so you can suck up to Tom later.
So, moving right along. Buffalo at Arizona.
Buffalo.
What do you say, CJ?
I got Buffalo winning. They will win 32-14. I'm sorry, 35-14. I think Josh Allen will come out slinging Sammy. I'm sorry, take that back. Slinging Josh, slinging Josh. I think he's going to come out. He's going to sling. He's going to have 4 touchdowns. And Micah Hyde is going to have at least 1 interception.
Ooh.
Okay.
What do you got, Albatross?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think the Buffalo Bills prove again that their inconsistency will get the better of them. And the Bills are going to go from a horrible defense that they're playing against to a defense that actually can play. So I think if the defense shows up for the Cardinals, the Bills are in for a long day. I think the Cardinals are going to win 28-10.
Ooh. After what I saw last week, I don't think Arizona drops 2 straight. I think it's hard. So if Arizona was traveling to Buffalo, I'm taking Buffalo. Arizona's home 2 weeks in a row. They lost a tough one to Miami. Kyler Murray is pissed. I expect this offense to come out, light up this Bills defense. I don't think really the Bills defense is ready for it.
No.
I like their secondary, but I don't think if Byron Jones and Xavier Howard weren't enough to stop DeAndre Hopkins, then Tre'Davious White and company aren't enough to stop DeAndre Hopkins. It's that simple. So I'm taking Arizona to bounce back and help Miami. And to win the game. 28-17.
I feel like I was a little biased, but
It was. Homer.
All right, you homers. So, moving on to the homer of the day. This was for our wonderful mate Ace, who never shows up anymore. We're gonna have to look into his contract and see what's going on here. Denver at Las Vegas.
Oh,
I have, what? Bold prediction.
Oh,
hot take.
Denver wins 21-10. Jerry Jeudy has 2 touchdowns for almost 150 yards.
Nice. I'm going to go with the Broncos also. And I'm going to go with the Broncos because they show up pretty consistently. They're not a great team by any means. They're not a good team or not a bad team, but they show up the same and they play about the same every week. You're not going to go out there and just beat them off the field.
right.
I think the Broncos come out here and beat the Raiders because the Raiders, I just don't even know. They're the traveling circus in the desert. I don't know. They're just, I don't know. They're not fun to watch, in my opinion. It's not anything. You have a lot of talent out there that I feel is not being used correctly. It's just not good. So I think they go out here, they end up losing to the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win a I'm going to go 17-14. Broncos win by field goal.
Well, I think John Gruden and company know what they're doing. He has them in a position to at least make the playoffs. So I think they take care of business. They win this divisional matchup. Derek Carr continues to do his thing under John Gruden. All the guy does under John Gruden is win football games. So Derek Carr throwing 3 touchdowns. Jacobs was running for 1. I think you got
You're reaching.
35-21 victory.
Oh, wow. This isn't the 2002 Raiders
Or is it?
with Jerry Rice.
Oh, just kidding. All right. Will Cincinnati give Pittsburgh their first loss of the year?
Ooh.
I got Pittsburgh.
Ooh. I'm going with my upset pick right here. Here. Right there. Okay.
Cincy upset special.
Cincinnati is going to beat the Steelers. Why? Because Joe Burrow is going to show the Steeler fans who is going to be the next quarterback in that, in that division. They're going to have a walk-off touchdown, not a field goal. Walk-off touchdown. I'm going 28-21. Cincy. Upset pick. Right there.
All right.
I'm taking Cincy myself, 35-28.
I think
Uh-oh.
this is biased. Okay, I think this is biased.
No bias. I mean,
I
need
just-
more Super Bowls. Not bias.
Here's the thing. Joe Burrow to me has shown he belongs.
He's
He's
tough.
shown that
But
he can play in the moment. I think this is a good moment for him to show that he can win big games, and I think that it's going to come if it comes down to a fourth quarter drive. Joe Burrow leads that drive, takes care of business, gives Steelers that first loss.
Not the team.
What are you thinking for the score there, CJ?
17-10. Chase Claypool will have 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns.
This guy over here with these low scores. Oh, I'm just kidding. All right, moving right along. Seattle playing the Rams. Does Seattle rebound? Do the Rams take care of business? Who you guys got?
I got Seahawks. There's nothing about Jared Goff that I like right now. Yeah, I have the Seahawks going. I think Russell Wilson would definitely bounce back. Not sure if they're gonna have their running backs back, but if they do, that's gonna be a major factor in them winning the game against the Rams. But yeah, I got Russell Wilson, throwing 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 300+ yards.
Okay. Man, I'm gonna go with the Rams. And I'm gonna go with the Rams because I think Jalen Ramsey's gonna shadow DK wherever he goes, because Jalen looks for those rough and tough guys who want to play physical. I think this defense for the Rams shows up. They're not gonna have to worry about playing the run. Obviously you know what the Seahawks are gonna do. And I think the Seahawks struggle with holding on to Josh Reynolds and Cooper Kupp and Mr. Robert Woods, and they throw for tons of yards, and Rams are getting the victory. I'm going, I'm going to say 28-21.
Yeah, my score for them was 31-17.
Yep.
Seahawks winning.
I got the Rams winning 28-10. Specifically because they can't play defense. I think Aaron Donald and the Rams defense is going to disrupt Seattle all day. I think, like you said, Ramsey's going to be able to mess with Metcalf, get going. And on the flip side, it's just not happening. There's no way that Seattle's terrible pass secondary is going to stop Woods, Kupp, all of them. It's not going to happen.
No, I mean, Woods, Kupp, Higbee, Reynolds.
There's just too many weapons.
There's so many fast weapons. They run
Yep.
good routes. There's just no way they're going to slow this team down on offense. And you're going to sit here again, 10th week in a row, 9th game in a row, you're going to be sitting here asking, Russell Wilson, go out here and save the day.
Not gonna happen.
Nope.
Excuse me. Not gonna happen. So moving on, Baltimore, New England. I got Baltimore winning in kind of a weird 17-9.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go with the Ravens, and they're going to win 35-7.
What game is this?
Ravens, Patriots. I think it's a blowout.
Upset.
Woo!
Yeah, you're reaching.
I got the
Homer.
I got the Patriots coming out with the win. It'll be a low-scoring game. I think it will come down to 17-14 Patriots way. I think that they could find some resurgence with this offense, man. And I think this will be good to see what exactly the Patriots can do. They can neutralize Lamar Jackson, as other teams has been effective in, throughout the season. But definitely I do have the Patriots, despite what I think about, Belichick, yeah. But I have 17-14 Patriots, and Cam Newton will have 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, and 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and 75 yards rushing.
Perfect. What'd you say for a score on that? I'm sorry.
17-14.
Okay, good. I had that. Perfect. All right. I just, have some fun here. We're going to get into the last prediction. America's game of the week, Chargers, Dolphins. I love messing with you guys. But for real, Chargers, Miami. I think Miami's only favored by like 1.5 right now. Definitely, definitely some interesting things to look for. I first thought initially Christian Wilkins and Kyle Van Noy were going to be inactive. As of today, Miami did activate Kyle Van Noy. He will be playing tomorrow. Wilkins, haven't heard anything. Joey Bosa and Jackson, the running back, are out for the Chargers. Huge hits. I'm just kind of curious how it's going to go. I think Tua is going to come out again, have another good solid day, take care of the football. What Miami really needs to do is run the ball. I think Matt Breida and company, you need to show up. Like, we just paid money to Breida and Jordan Howard, and the dudes haven't done a damn thing. So let's get that thing going there. I think if they run the ball, it helps Tua. I think Tua's going to make some more plays again. I say he throws for 3 touchdowns tomorrow. I think Devontae Parker has a big day with Preston Williams being down. I think they take care of business 28-10.
I'm going to go with the Fins. My gut wants to go with the Chargers, but I'm going to go with the Fins. And it's gonna be a shootout. Herbert's not gonna let Tua get away that far. It's gonna be a shootout. I think we're talking. Oh man, I'm gonna go 24-21. Dolphins win.
All right, you ready for this?
Upset.
Are you ready?
I can't put on my seatbelt.
No upset for this. I have Miami winning.
Ooh.
24-7. Tua will have 3 touchdowns, 200 yards, one rushing touchdown, 70 yards.
Man, you guys just don't think the Chargers can score at all?
Honestly, if Miami's defense comes out and shows up, it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
Really? Really interesting.
I mean, they still are a top 3 scoring defense. So
as much as I would like to resist, the increasing of his head size right now, but
He's
but
just zooming in.
the Dolphins' defense is just superb right now. They're just firing on all cylinders right now. They know how to attack the ball. They know how to get the ball. Their turnover ratio is amazing right now. This is gonna cause a lot of problems for Herbert. They already have is a little bit depleted as far as weapons is on their offense. So something is going to happen, and it's not going to look good for Herbert. Herbert's still going to get his though. Don't make no mistake. Herbert will get his stats, but I just don't think right now that this Charger offense is ready for this defense right now.
I like it. All right, fellas, we're getting to one of the closing out segments here. Got about 2-3 things left here. This is going to be a nice one here, though. This will be fun. Right off the bat, we're going to get interesting. No clear cut to win the Super Bowl. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
That's where I'm at. I'm at fact too. I just think there's so many questions, like we said about certain teams. There's so many questions that you can't say, oh, this team's going to win for sure. Oh, they're going to be there. Like, there's just so many questions that I think that anybody could really surprise anybody.
Here's the reason why. One, this pandemic has taken everybody by storm. Two, with the playoffs possibly expanding to 8 games per conference, this gives these teams who's probably at the lowest of the ranks, resurgence in the playoffs.
Yep.
Look at the Titans last year.
Yep.
They came in as the true underdog, inside of the playoffs, and almost knocked off the reigning Super Bowl championship. It's no clear cut right now because after seeing the Titans come in the playoffs with the 7-9 record and almost knocking off the Super Bowl champs last year, and pandemic happening this season, and with the expansion of the playoff, it only gives a team that's probably just going to be at the bottom of the barrel in the ranks to come out and just play solid old school football, as what you call it, Albatross, and win a Super Bowl.
Yep. I'm gonna say fact also. I just think there's just, I don't know. I've seen not enough consistent things in the Steelers camp to say that they're just going to run the table. The Chiefs have an ego the size of Arrowhead Stadium, and they think they can beat everybody and then don't play up to their standard. I just think that some of the best teams don't play the best when they should. So I think we still got to play out the next 6 to 7 weeks of games and see how it goes.
I like it. I agree. I'm also fact on that. Like I said, there's just too many questions, too many inconsistencies. Switch it up here. Basketball. Did they rush the season? Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
The restart of the next season. Sorry.
Fiction.
Well, me thinking about it now, it's definitely fiction, and this is based off the conversation that we had earlier, where Adam, despite what I might think about them rushing, to get back with the season and how these NBA players don't have time to be with their family before the holidays. Adam Silver has been one of I would say, the best GM of this generation so far. He has done everything right with the NBA as far as the social change and keeping up with the noun and allowing players to speak for themselves inside of the NBA. And tell that these players respect Adam Silver as well. But with the NBA rushing the season, I don't think it's a rush. Just like you said, Albatross. With they don't want to compete with the World Series and having to compete with the
NFL.
Super Bowl and with the NFL. things like that. So the only thing that's right so far is starting the season.
Yep.
Not on time, but close
Pretty
to
close.
close to a schedule.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll say that this is a fiction.
I'm with you.
Agreed. Yep.
I'm on the fiction. I think this is perfect. It's going to kind of suck, but at the same time, maybe it won't. You've had the Heat and the Lakers are only going to get like 80-day rest, basically 80-day, off season, so to speak. Some people are going to get like 200 and some days for off season. We'll see how much that affects. We'll see. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but overall, I like it. I like that they're trying to get everything back in position. It's a perfect push everything real quick, get a nice little short season in there, get another champion, and then next thing you know, boom, 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 you're right back into the normal slot of where basketball was.
Yep.
Good move. Good move. Oh man. So, fact or fiction? If Cam and Belichick don't right this ship, Patriots miss the playoffs for the first time in a while.
I
Fact.
think they already missed the playoffs, and here's why. I know it's too early to call it, but there's no chemistry between Cam Newton and Bill Belichick right now. And
Right.
despite what everybody might say, oh, it's Cam Newton. I'm like, no, I think it's just that it's the chemistry. Bill Belichick is used to a guy who just ready to go in and ready to smash it down, smash it down the field. And where we're seeing where Cam has had a coach who actually goes out of his way to instill his methods in his head. Like, hey, this is how we're gonna do it, And Ron Rivera was like that with Cam Newton. He's like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be done. If you give me your time, I give you my time. And I want you to succeed in the best way possible. We'll play your football, but I want to play your football as well as mine. So we got to find the bridge, the gap. And right now, I don't think that's happening with Belichick right now. I think Belichick is still stuck in his ways. He wants to do things the way he wants to. And just like we said with Arians, eventually, you got to bend the knee.
Yep. I think it's going to be fact. I think the Patriots don't find some sort of camaraderie, then definitely going to be a long off season for Patriots fans.
I agree. It's fact. I think they dug themselves too big a hole to come back now. I don't think there's not enough pieces in place for this team to make a significant run to put them back in position. The way Miami's playing, the way Buffalo's playing, it's going to be hard to see them make that run to snag a playoff spot. So, fact. On to the next. Is Kansas City still the cream of the crop? Fact or fiction?
I'm going to say fiction. I think that there's other teams as the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers play pretty close to the same type of ball on both sides, on all three phases. Sorry. With Kansas City, either the offense comes out and just completely blows your mind, or the defense will show up and play well, and the offense is just kind of there. I just feel like they're not the team that's going to come out, put the pedal to the metal, and just floor you every time. And I feel like Pittsburgh wants to be that team in the AFC. In the NFC, I feel like that team right now is the Saints. So I think both of those teams are playing at a higher level than the Chiefs. So I would say fiction.
CJ.
So here's where I'm about to get a little bit antsy, right? Is that this is by far fiction. You can't say that the cream of the crop when they struggled against Carolina. Carolina right now has a good has a good record right now, but you're struggling against Carolina, you're struggling against Oakland, you're the Super Bowl champs. What's going on? I get the pandemic has been a major factor, but when you look on the right side of the board, you're in the same conference that you're in. You got the Steelers undefeated right now. They're playing, like you said, complete football. So to say that they're creaming the crop, the Chiefs is creaming the crop, is a slap in Mike Tomlin's face. And when they get a chance to meet, if they get a chance to meet this season, they're going to show them why they're undefeated. Then
Yep.
then you have on the NFC side, like you said, the Saints, where like I said, Drew Brees has made a statement. It's
Yep.
like, hey, you're not going to come into my division, Tom Brady. You're not going to come to in my division, in my conference, and think that this is going to be easy. You might have beat Aaron Rodgers, but you're not going to beat me. And
Right.
right now, this is where the Chiefs, are they good? Yes, we can all agree that they are good, but
Yep.
there is some exposure
Yep.
with this offense where it takes a complete dynamic team to actually make this
Yep.
full-fledged. I mean, you got to put it out into the light. And
Right.
when a team rolls around and actually shed that into the light, I think Patrick Mahomes is by far one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation. And I just think that he's smart, and like you said, he played behind Alex Smith. So he's smart, he's well-rounded, he's patient. And it's just one of those things where I think the team as a whole just needs work.
I agree. I think this is fiction. Also, I don't think they're the far dominant, like you kind of saw them last year start to run away with it. You were like, oh, okay, yeah, they're it. I don't think they're here anymore. I think you have some teams that are closing the gap. I think there's some teams who could pose a threat to slow down the offense. I don't think you can ever stop that offense with Mahomes. I just think that he has just kind of like that Russell Wilson ability just to make plays. You just see it. He just makes plays from nothing. And I think that accelerates that team. I think he's able to make the people better around him. I mean, you have people who we talk all the time. They don't have great route running, but when you have a dude who can throw the ball almost anywhere on the field, it's going to make your players better.
Yep.
So I don't think they're the best of the crop by any mean, but I'd say they're still up there, easily top 5 team, no doubt.
Yep.
Moving on, I know you had a question. I don't want to mess up the verbiage on it regarding John Gruden.
Are the Raiders questioning their 10-year bid on Gruden yet? Fact or
No.
fiction?
I don't think
I'd
they are.
say as of right now, it's fiction. I think if they weren't playing the way they were, if Derek Carr wasn't playing the games and winning the games that he was winning, how they're winning, playing physical football with Josh Jacobs, you have the emergence of Waller. If you don't have those things and the defense coming together, yes, you question it. But I think the way that this team is trending, I think they're going in the right direction. If they don't hit the playoffs this year, they have to hit the playoffs next year. Otherwise, yes, you're questioning the whole thing.
I have another question for this fact or fiction segment.
You're fine. What's your thoughts on this first? Go ahead.
The Washington football team, are they poised, despite their record right now, are they poised to research their season and possibly, winning a division overall?
If they win tomorrow, yes.
Yep.
But it starts tomorrow.
Fact.
If they lose tomorrow, fiction.
Yep. I think tomorrow's a big key. Obviously, the NFC East is right there.
Yep.
All close, bunched up together. So you talk a couple wins, and you could easily roll out this, and a lot of really good experience talking playoff games for the
And
team.
You guys know me. I can be a homer, a lot, but but one thing that I've been saying this whole season, you got to vouch for, is that you gotta get Antonio Gibson going.
Oh, yeah.
You
A run
gotta
game.
get him going, and You
Yep.
see that when he had 24 in against Dallas, he had 24. He had 24 carries for 100 plus yards. Scott, what are you doing? You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm
I hear
starting
you.
Scott Turner. You know, as bad as I want to say, hey, let's make this work. I'm starting to question Scott Turner because now it's like, is this the reason why the Carolina is doing so well now? Because they no longer have Scott Turner.
Right. Did you guys get rid of the problem and then you guys inherited it?
And that's actually going to be a take of mine this week on the Hawk side.
Hey. You know,
And honestly, I think the whole Gruden thing, I don't know. I guess I expect more out of them. Yeah, they're taking steps, but they're taking baby steps. I mean, infant steps. I mean, these guys had a nice influx of young talent. Obviously, they traded Khalil Mack and got a bunch from the Bears. I feel like there should just be more consistent, high level play out of this team, and I feel like it's just I'm not sure if I'm going to get a Raiders team that's going to feel confident about themselves or a Raiders team that's scared to make John turn into Chucky.
right. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. The next 2 or 3 weeks really are going to be huge for them in terms of the division and playoff seeding. I know they have a matchup with Miami also later in this season that could depend on positioning as well. So definitely some things to pay attention to moving forward. I will also say, should have thrown this out there earlier when we were talking about it anyway. Steelers, are the Steelers a facade, fact or fiction?
Say that again.
Are the Steelers a facade?
Say that again.
Fiction. They are definitely not a facade. They're real. I think they're real. I think they are a contender. I don't think they're pretending anything. I think Mike Tomlin, like I said earlier, one of the best coaches in the league, and his team shows it.
Listen. Hear me out. I don't like voting about the Steelers. I don't like it at all. You know.
Yep.
You know, but I gotta call it how I see it. And it's just when you look at all around winning, only one team that fits in that category this season, and that's the big old PIT.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're it. You know, and you know when you see this team and how well they have been doing, despite their But yeah, it's a fiction for me. You know, it's a fiction. You know, and I think that they will be in the running for a Super Bowl this year. That's my bold prediction is Steelers will go to the Super Bowl this year.
I could definitely see it with Big Ben. I called beginning of the year they were going to be a team to reckon with.
Oh, sorry.
You're hilarious. So, on the last fact or fiction of the day, are the Dolphins for real? Fact or fiction?
Here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna say my piece. I'm gonna say my piece, okay? And are they for real? The defense, yes. Offense,
Needs work.
I need more. You know, I need more. You know, I
A
need
run game.
Honestly, I need to see a complete team, and until I see that, you know, I'm not even gonna say whether this is fact or fiction. I think this is down in the middle because the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are or, folks. He's saying they are or.
Yeah, they're or. You know, they're or.
They're or.
Here's the thing: how long in this season is the defense keep going to build this offense out?
It's true.
You
I mean,
know?
honestly, I will say last weekend with the Arizona game, I'd say you had Tua bailing out the team more than the defense. Obviously, they had that big play to open it, his strip sack. But Tua led the drives later in the game in the fourth quarter to get the points. Like the
Yeah.
defense, you could see was kind of like, we've been out here all day, man. What's going on? Like
Yeah.
it got grindy. So I mean, I agree though. I think they're for real because of Brian Flores. I think this is a fact because of Brian Flores. I think the Brian Flores, Chris Greer regime, you're seeing it. You're seeing the blue collar mentality. He's able to get these guys to lock in each and every week. It's not I'm selling you for the season. It's I'm selling you week to week, and they're buying week to week. You know, for these guys to believe in when everyone's like, oh, you're going to get beat by the Rams. Oh, you're going to get blown out by the Cardinals. We've been told we're going to lose these games all year long and then show up and take care of business. It's just the ability to be coachable and to want to be a team player, and that's what you're seeing in Miami, and that's why I think it's a fact.
Question. Come closer. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Zoomed in. Your head is big.
I'm gonna say. Well, I have to say fact because I was the one who sold him on Brian Flores. So I think that the Dolphins are for real. They just continue to keep growing and become battle tested. And I think you talk about them winning the division possibly if Buffalo slips, and kind of fast forwarding, maybe fast tracking this, this timeline. So I think the Dolphins fans are finally ready to see some meaningful football in December and hopefully maybe January.
Ooh. I like it. I like it all. I think
He's all giddy, folks. He's all giddy.
it would definitely be nice to see, some meaningful games, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind just seeing a playoff victory at this point. I see them get there and they lose. So, we're just going to go in. We're going to let CJ join us today on the Bird's Nest. Usually it's just me and Albatross. I think it was me and CJ once. But, we're all here. It's a good weekend. It was a good week of sports. It was a great show. We wanted to bring you into the nest. So here we are. Come closer. Come closer. Yes.
Okay.
So I believe Albatross had something to say regarding COVID and how it's affected the NFL season.
Oh man. I don't even know. I don't have enough energy and time to put into this rant, but I watched a Thursday night game with the 49ers not get canceled when you had an entire set of skill position players come out. I mean, we're talking fourth preseason game string players. It was a joke. Cancel this stuff. We have so many players that are missing games because of COVID because there's no direction. There's no direction from the people who are on top. You have 32 different individual probably opinions from all the owners, and nothing's being said. Yeah, the NBA has a smaller team size to deal with, but they went through their season and their fast track season and their playoffs and the MLB, and now here's the NFL with, practice squad players taking starting positions because of COVID. I just feel like there could be such a better setup. I think we need to just have more guidelines, more restrictions. Maybe people aren't going to be happy with it, but I feel like more guidelines, restrictions, keep these players quarantined, keep them away from others that they don't need to be around, and continue to put out a good product. The NFL is just putting this half-ass product out there on the field and then expecting everyone to be like, hey, it's still the NFL.
You know what? I was gonna say something, but the way honestly, I don't like the way Roger Goodell has handled the COVID-19 protocol, and within the NFL and the players and things like that. Because, listen, like you said, when you have a team that loses 5 or 6 players, in 1 week due to COVID, and that there's a possibility that it has spread to other people amongst the team and the staff as well. You
Yep.
know, and as a fan in the beginning, like, oh my gosh, not football. You can't take away football, but at the risk of this, no, you have to. You know, you seen you seen what the MLB and the NBA has been doing as far as the bubble. You know, you can't do a bubble with the 53-man roster, adding the coaches. It's about a good 80 staff organization. But you can't. I mean, you can't do that. But then, like we were talking about earlier, you can centralize everything. You
Yep.
know, you make the schedule per to the teams that are actually in the same vicinity throughout the week.
Yep.
You know, you make the schedule, and then you have one destination or two destinations in that area where they're just playing football. Even if you have to after every game, you simply say, "Hey, okay, this 1 o'clock game is over. Move over to the side, go in your tunnel, change whatever, and let the next set of teams come in and play with different refs and stuff like that." I don't see what the issue is.
Yep.
I just think they just could have did differently. With how everything's has ended up. I'm glad that there are teams that didn't have like a major outbreak in cases and stuff like that. But then you had with the Tennessee Titans, and that really did a number on everybody else. Because it only
Yeah.
takes one. It only takes
Yep.
one.
Yep. I just, again, I don't want to beat this drum too hard, but it's just, I feel like just a lack of protocol, lack of leadership, and just the inability to care for others. I think is really what it comes down to. I mean, these are people, they have families, they need to be taken care of. And obviously, if they're going to make them go out here and play a sport, for entertainment purposes, then take care of these guys. Quit putting them in bad situations. There's definitely enough money in the NFL for them to figure out logistically how to pay for a centralized region of the country for them to use. I just, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things they could
Yeah,
have done. They
it's
rushed it.
it's like I said. It's just like what I was gonna say. Crap. Lost my place.
Yeah, it's all just kind of not so groovy. I totally agree with what you guys say though with the whole situation. I don't like how the NFL's handled it. In the beginning, it was, hey, 3-4 people got it, push a game back, make sure people are healthy. Now it's, 3 or 4 people have it, seclude them, get your backups ready, let's go.
Yeah,
That's not quality football.
it's just like the NCAA right now. And honestly, listen, these kids are getting paid. Sure they get stipends, but it's not enough. It's not enough to
For the
do
risk.
with.
Right.
Like cancel the season. And honestly, when you see these coaches in when they say that 18 players of one team or one college tested positive, and then you still play the game. It's like, what are you doing?
You play to win the game.
Well, it's because I think again, and maybe this is a different conversation for a different type of talk show, but I feel like it's all about the bottom line. It's all about that political angle of the organization to make sure that they set themselves up better to receive kickbacks and tax this and all this. So again, maybe we should set up the Saturday night politics show, but who knows? I think it's just all politics. Everyone wants to make money right now because everyone's hard up for money, even in the entertainment business. We have people doing live like concerts like this. I mean, they're streaming concerts now because the entertainment business has changed. How can we not figure out a way to make these players have a safer, environment? We watched a group of teams, in the NBA utilize one massive area and not a single COVID case came out of it. Now, maybe there's some transparency issues. Maybe they're not telling us 100%. But from what they've told us, the NBA took care of business.
Yep.
100%. Took care of business, 100%, and took it all the way, gave us a champion, and they didn't compromise their game to give us a champion. I mean, we were billed a revenge game, 49ers Packers. I don't know what it was, but it was no revenge game. I mean, it was a joke. It was a joke.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely shouldn't have happened. Too many people were out, and there wasn't, again, like I said, the Patriots game earlier this year, there was way more people out than, or probably just as many people out, actually. I think the 49ers actually had more, and that game got pushed back earlier in the season. This game was, carry on, carry on.
Yep.
I think more or less it was, we can't allow the Packers to get smacked down 3 times in a row by the 49ers. But, it is what it is. Ultimately, I hope we can get it under control. I hope they can get things in order. Kind of like you said, I hope we can get more protocol and maybe they can get an area figured out. If we have to do this next season, hopefully they present something in the off season of we have a region here, a region here, a region here. Yep. Split it all up. This is how it's going to be. We'll all meet in one area that will be secluded for the playoffs.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be hard to do. It would be difficult. There's bigger teams, but I definitely think it's possible. You could buy out a whole damn hotel. You can't tell me people wouldn't do it. They're still making their money.
Yep.
So it's just something interesting to watch. It's how it's affecting the season. This is just that thing, So that's where we're at. I think we'll call her at that one, fellas. It's been a nice long night. It's been interesting, we all picked the Dolphins. We all picked the Washington football team. Like, man, we must have really got some weird stuff going on here. But that's okay, because where we're going to be? Catch us on the PS4. We're playing Madden.
Yeah. Go Niners.
Fins up.